Youre, well, we're back again. Standard opening for me, isn't it? And actually, I'm really kind of excited. I've been kind of waiting for this to happen. Some of you may not be as excited as I am, but I see the long-term outcome of what's taking place here. I had put up on my Facebook page a request for people who had interest in certain topics and ideas for doing videos on YouTube. And a lady made the comment that uh, she was having a situation in her life where she had reached a point where she's feeling pretty much love, if that's the appropriate word, or the loving vibration towards just about everybody, uh, particularly in regards to men. And she's asking, how do I find a partner or a companion if I'm feeling love for pretty much everyone? And I thought to myself, now this has potential. The funny thing is when I read the question, I kind of chuckled, and I may have read it wrong, and if I did, I apologize to the lady in question. But the way she wrote it, it almost seemed like she was thinking that it's a problem because she's in this situation and she's feeling love for everyone. So how does she find a partner that she can actually feel a similar vibration with and get into, a very deep and spiritual connection? And I said, I got to do this one right away, okay? Because I got excited. Because, like I said, I've been waiting for something like this to happen for a long time. One of the things that I've been hearing kind of scattered, okay, amongst, and sometimes in a twin flame group or sometimes on my Facebook groups or Facebook page, I've been hearing people saying, well, Mel, I'm feeling a very intense connection for another person besides my twin flame. And I commented on that. And then I've heard people say, well, Mel, I've had this situation where, I'm a female and I'm feeling, kind of like a heart center connection with 3 or 4 different men. And now all of a sudden I'm feeling the same connection for a woman. Well, what does that mean? I'm having a problem with my sexuality. Is blah, blah, blah. Is this coming up? Is that coming up? Is this a twin flame? Is this a another relationship kind of thing? Or am I dealing with some kind of karmic overtones with my sexual energy that's seeking expression, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? And it's amazing. It's really amazing because everybody that I talk to and I read about it, they're all thinking that this is a problem. Okay. And some people think, well, they're having a situation where they're feeling this love for everybody, that means that they should be getting into a relationship with them and in sexual connection with them. So the consciousness is expanding. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to enlighten you, pretty much all of you. Would it be in the realm of possibility that all of you who are becoming so wise and so enlightened could actually join me on a vision? All right. And imagine what this lady is saying. She's feeling this love connection for all of these people, these men, and she can't figure out how she's going to find a partner. And I want you to just focus on that for a moment. And I want you to kind of think of, is that happening perhaps to the neighbor down the street? Is that happening to a bunch of people in my city? And then you come up with a wonderful what if situation. What if? What if? What if? President Trump. I like Trump. I actually like him. He is a gift. What would happen if President Trump right now suddenly had a heart center awakening and all of a sudden, from a perennial perspective, he now feels love for everyone out there? Do you think the Tweety bird would go nuts? I think Twitter and tweet would shit their pants. Because suddenly now you have Trump feeling the love for everyone. I wonder what would happen to his conversation and the way he talks. Let's get even racier. Let's get really impossible here. Let's think about Mr. Putin and the leader of the Chinese. I can't pronounce his name, so I'm not even going to try. What happens if those two guys, suddenly they have a heart center awakening and they'll feel in love on a perennial basis for everybody around them? And we have people in every segment of our society starting feeling love for everyone around them. And then once they go through all the confusion of, well, it's not necessarily as a relationship ending, and no, I don't have to have sex with all of these people I'm falling in love with. So we have some kind of contagious happening on the planet. And Melvin's sitting over there, and he's getting more and more excited all the time as he's talking about this, because this is what's going to happen. This is what I've been talking about for years. It's happening now, today, this moment. More and more of you are starting to feel that connection with more and more people. And more of you are going to start figuring out it doesn't mean you're going to have sex with all these people. It doesn't mean you're gay if you're a woman and, you're feeling love for another woman. And it doesn't mean you're gay if you're a man and you're feeling love for another man. It's okay to do that, all right? That's normal to do that. But it doesn't mean because you're now feeling it, you never felt it before, that you're this and that and everything else. All right? And what happens if you're gay? Well, what happens if you're gay? And suddenly you find yourself feeling all this love for women. Does that mean something's wrong with you? You're feeling all this love all of a sudden, instead of feeling just love for a man, you're feeling love for a woman, and vice versa for a woman who is in love with a woman, now feeling love for a man? Well, I mean, pride is going to get all blown to hell because everybody's in love. It's going to be happening, you see. So this is what's happening with the evolutionary process, and this is what I've been trying to say for years. We're going to change and evolve to a society where basically everyone is feeling that love vibration, that love emanation for everybody, neighbor, aunt, uncle, cousin, twin, brother, sister, everything. Can you imagine how our society is going to change dramatically? This is what the evolutionary process is doing. And this is where relationships are going. This is the outcome. This is where we're going. You're going to see more and more of this. And people are not going to be making, all kinds of interpretations based on their old belief system. This is what people are doing now. When this is happening, they're feeling the love for all of these people and everything else. They're interpreting it based on their old belief systems about love, relationship, and sexuality. And those don't apply anymore. This is a great video. Please listen. Pass it around to your friends. Give it to your brother, your sister, your mother, your uncle. Send a copy to Trump. Send one to Trudeau. Definitely send at least 6 to Putin, because he'll have to listen to it 6 times before it'll sink into him. All right? And a few other places. So that's why you see the turmoil in our society today that you see. Because we're going through that transition that's taking place. This was one of the most exciting questions I've ever been asked to do. And this is what's happening. We're all going to go there. When our society makes the shift, and we're not there yet, all right, we've had the heart center awakening. Heart center awakening is now happening to 85 to 90% of the population. But we haven't had 50% of the people now feeling love for everyone of both genders. We're not there yet. We're only down around about 20-25%. But we're going to get there. It's going to happen. It's not going to take long. Another, how long? 2 or 3 decades before we get to over 50%. However, now, I want to get back to the lady's question. Okay, now that I've kind of got everybody kind of thinking that, and we all got something to look forward to because we do. It's going to happen, and you can say, because I told you so. All right, and I knew this. I knew this back in the 90s, that this was going to happen. All right, it's funny, just going off topic here for a minute, is, nah, never mind, I'll save that for another video. To get back to the lady, okay, and her question about, well, now that I'm feeling this love for all of these people, how do I find a partner? Okay, here again, I don't want to make people look supercilious or present this like I'm being sarcastic or trying to belittle or put people down. This is a very bona fide question. How do you do that? You have to remember, besides feeling this love for everybody, you've been given the gift of the open heart center, which manifests as source creative energy, which some people like to call love. They call it divine. There are many different terms for it. None of them are correct based on our old belief systems. All right. So now you have this lady who's experiencing love for pretty much everybody in general. So how do you find a partner? Let me use this as an analogy. Going back to our old belief systems, if you really wanted to do something in society or you wanted to accomplish something, you have to dream about it. You have to see it. You have to feel it. I'll give you an example. I'm a baseball fan, so I'll use baseball as an analogy here. What do you think a baseball player does before he became a professional baseball player? All he does is eat, sleep, and dream about being a baseball player. He sees it constantly in his mind. He's constantly visualizing. He's seeing it. He's creating it. He's putting his energy into it. He's focused on it. He's disciplined on it. It's all he wants, all he desires. Now, add in that same baseball player, but now he's got an active heart center. What do you think is going to happen? Point A to point B for a baseball player can take X amount of years. Add in the component of the heart center, which is the creative source, which speeds up the process and accelerates it. He can be there in half the time. Literally. Some of you can say, well, can you clarify that, Mel? Yes, I can. The lady in question wants to have a partner, but she doesn't know how to attract that partner. So what you need to do is this, is you need to go into a meditative state, go into the heart center chakra. Remember, something else that has been enhanced with the evolutionary process or the heart center awakening is the stimulation of the brain via Kundalini energy, which I've talked about already. And what has been activated is the dream state chakra, which is in the back of the head, which is a state of consciousness. But at the same time, the imaginative faculty is located there also, and it's been stimulated and enhanced. So what you do is you create a shopping list, man. That's what you do. You decide by going into the heart center chakra and co-creating, I'll use that word, co-creating a visual presentation of a person that you would like to see manifest in your life as a partner, with having complementary ingredients that complement you at these levels. Personality, characteristics, tastes, likes, and also a visual presentation of the whole scenario, and you work with it, you construct it, you change it, you modify it. When you get a complete vibrational picture in the heart center chakra, then you magnetize and energize it by focusing just on that particular thing that you have created. You've co-created this with the imaginative faculty in the source creative center, and you've attuned to it this way. This can be done with anything in life. This is what we're becoming, co-creator. All I'm giving you at this point is the basic tool to be able to do and to use the heart center chakra, source creative source, in a co-creative manifestation in conjunction with your oversoul, soul self, whatever term you want to call it. Now's the time for participation. Many of you can now learn how to use this, and I'm going to continue this, and you can do this in every avenue or any venue of your life. Right now, for a lot of people, the most important thing on the planet is the change of relationships and the evolution of relationships, and that's what we're talking about in this video. So you keep doing this. Now, some people are going to say, okay, well, all right, Mel, I'm seeing it and feeling it, and I'm going along with it. Now, here's what's going to happen as you're doing this. This may take some time. It may take a few days. It may take a couple of weeks. It may take a month or two. While you're visualizing and creating, you'll get a feeling that, oh yeah, that's right. That's exactly what vibes with me. And that'll go into the filing system up here. And then correspondingly, what'll happen is if there's something that doesn't fit, now this is after the stage where you've gone through the twin flame phenomena, you've outgrown it, and you realized here that there is a life beyond twin flames, that twin flames is just a label, but the evolutionary process of relationships is creating new definitions and defining, fine-tuning the relationship concept so you can go into a union with somebody on a permanent, semi-permanent, or even a casual basis based on the freedom of expression and freedom of creativity as a co-creator entity being that you've now been given. So you'll get the frequency that it will acknowledge that you're correct in what you're seeing and feeling. The idea is this. When you're using, and this is kind of a safety mechanism that is built into the heart center chakra, when you don't have the right picture or the right frequency or the right components, or you put in the wrong things, you won't get a feeling that what you're doing is correct, and nothing will happen. So there's a safety mechanism built in so you can't do any harm to yourself, and you can't do anything that's destructive or dysfunctional. We're moving into a time in linear three-dimensional reality where the idea of doing things wrong is going to disappear. There won't be a time anymore where people think, well, this is right and this is wrong, because you can't do anything wrong, because everybody's in the same frequency of love vibration, if you want to call it that, and everybody's in creative mode, and you have the safety mechanism built into the heart center via the Kundalini experience, and also, I might add, the change of character and personality, and that has infused into the mental body new attributes and filters so that you're being a creator in a positive, functional, balanced, and unified linear energetic field that you radiate. So what happens is when this lady composes and then composes the picture that she wants, that vibrates with her at the mental, the emotional, the physical, the spiritual, she will get a frequency response that will tell her this is right. When she has that picture, and this can be done in meditations, all of you should be learning how to meditate or contemplate or reflect. Call it what you want. It simply means you can do it with your eyes open, you can do it with your eyes closed, you can do it while you're walking, and you get the right frequency, and then what you do is you give it form. Now, what do I mean by form? Use your imagination to see if you can visualize what do you think the person might look like. All right, now that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to turn up in exactly the way you see it. But what you're doing is you're now giving it form. Oh, sorry, put the pen down. You're now giving it form. You've heard me talk about it in this video. Now I'm going to give you the practical application of doing it even more in depth. Now you're going to give it form. All right. So you create a visual impression of the person that you would like to meet. So if it's a male, you may want a female. If it's a male and you're oriented towards male, you see it as a male. If you're a female and you're oriented towards females, whatever combination it is, visualize the component in form, in physical form, in the heart center. When I talk about form in those videos, you need to pay attention to those last few videos that I did. They are the ultimate twin flame relationship connection videos. With those videos, all you need is fine tuning and a little bit of more pointers to go along. It says it all. And this video here that this lady made this request for gives me the indication we've won. We will survive as a species, but not in the present form that we are now, in the new form that I've been talking about for years, and I'm seeing it happen, and I'm just tickled pink. I got my shorts all in a knot even talking about it, and I'm all excited, as every one of you can see. So giving it form means there will be a length of time in linear before it manifests and attracts toward you, because you've created it, you've given it form, you've given it substance, and what you've also done is, because now, if you're in a situation where you have reached a point in your evolutionary process, spiritual awakening, whatever you want to call it, where you're now in a form of connection where you're basically connecting with pretty much everyone and you're feeling the love for everyone, what that tells you is you're in balance of your yin-yang, masculine, feminine with self. You've gone through a lot of personality and character changes, as it were. You have let go of a lot of your old belief systems and innuendos, otherwise you couldn't be feeling that. It would be impossible. You cannot feel love for everyone, literally, in the sense that we're talking about here, unless you've gone through all of those changes. That's what the changes are for exactly this. So as we see more people doing this, then they're going to want to know, well, how do I find the one or the person that I want to be with? So what's going to happen is this, is the other thing that I want to mention here is that I hear people a lot lately, they're getting concerned about, well, monogamous relationships, are they just a belief system? No, they're not. They are a form of relationship, all right? And open relationships are just a form that the present state of consciousness in people now has brought into form. That will change also, and it will move on and evolve and grow. This is what I'm trying to say to people. The concept of relationships and how it's manifested, as we're moving into the new dimensions of relationship and the new connections of love, you can't decipher and interpret what's happening now to you based on the old belief systems of the past. And this is what I see people doing, is because we're now into the new, all right, people are trying to drop back into the past, and the old belief systems are trying to interpret what's happening that's new to them now. And they're confused. You don't need to be confused. Just ask me. Get on my channel and ask me. Make a comment. Ask a question. We're here. I don't have all of the answers, but I will tell you something. I have a lot of answers. And they are the right answers. And I don't mind saying it. And I've been waiting for this to show up, because now this opens up a whole new doorway that I've been waiting for to be able to give the information. One of the things that I've been told is I'm not going to be given the information until it's required, until certain steps and achievements have been made in the evolution of consciousness. I'm not the only one. There are other people who are in the same situation who are going to be able to channel or funnel that information as it's required, because we're suitable, because we've developed the appropriate vehicle and the appropriate state of consciousness to be able to do that. And there will be more. So in this particular situation here, this is exactly what the doctor ordered. Now, how long will this take? It can vary from individual to individual. There's not a timeline. You could say, well, it's going to take 2 weeks, or it's going to take months, or it's going to take 6 months. It will take as long as it takes you to master the idea of taking the imaginative faculty, taking it down into the heart center and say, okay, I'm looking for a partner, and start creating, visualizing it, seeing it in the heart center chakra as a visual presentation, and modifying it. And when you get the right vibration that you know it's right, you'll get a feeling. You all know what I'm talking about for those of you who are there. The other ones, you'll think I'm out to lunch, and that's okay. Everybody thinks I'm out to lunch on some occasion or other. And when you get the feeling that you've got it right, then you start to give it form. Now, in the meantime, what will happen is if there's anything that's left that needs to be changed and modified with you, because you've created now and given form to something, you may have to go through a short period of adapting a change within yourself. All right. When you create something that is coming towards you, literally, you must adapt to prepare to be ready for that change if it's appropriate and vibrationally compatible with you. And there may be some stuff that's left, just, and it's usually not that in deep or core or whatever. And the idea here at this point is these people who are at this point should, when somebody mentions the word karma, literally start laughing. Karma has now become the new age joke. It is literally not even funny anymore when people start talking about karma. It is the most ridiculous thing to talk about, which is totally non-existent because it's an old belief system and it has no place in heart center activity. Because the heart center activity is the opening to source. Source, by definition, has replanted a whole new seed in humanity. And this is what's taking place. And that form is taking place in the jars of relationship. And when you do this, when you're at this point, what Source, Heart Center, is saying to you, you now are in a position where you're feeling, and I'm going to use this term, unconditional love for everyone. You now know what it is, because that's what she's talking about. Most people who talk about unconditional love have no idea what unconditional love is. They just talk for the sake of talking because they want to hear themselves say something impressive. People who are experiencing unconditional love don't talk about it, they simply are it. And this lady is it. So she is vibrating that. Now she can create. She's now officially a co-creator. And this applies to a whole lot of people as you go along. Now, I'm going to get comments on this video, and I know there's going to be additional questions. If you're going to ask me additional questions, and you're going to put them in the comment section, could I ask you all a favor? Can you try to be a bit more specific when you're asking me for information or questions that you're asking? I need you to clarify for me because we're getting down to the nitty-gritty here. And in some situations here, I'm only going to be talking to a handful or a very small segment of people, and I want to make sure that I get the clarification that's needed to give further information. Okay? Okay, now just to refresh, think about what I've said. What is going to happen when our leaders start having these types of activities going on with them? Things are going to change. People like Trump, people like Putin, and some other leaders of the world right now are tilling the soil. They are making the changes by stimulating and bringing out exactly what needs to be cleansed and purged from society without killing us all. All right? Believe me, there are a lot of people who don't like Trump. I love him. He's doing exactly what he's supposed to be doing, and that is bringing out the raw emotions, fears, and the patterns that need to be brought out in society, especially in the US. And the same thing is happening in Russia. The same thing is happening in Europe, and I love it. It's all good. Although right now, it doesn't appear that way to some people. But again, I can see the big picture. Most are just concerned about themselves and the partner that they may be looking for or achieving. So I really enjoyed to do this video. It was really exciting for me to do that, and I'm tickled pink. Just remember, follow the instructions that I've given you, modify them to your particular needs, but the key points that I've mentioned need to be followed meticulously when doing the exercise, when you want to draw someone into your attraction, when you're feeling love for everyone. This will draw to you one that is suitable to you. At that point, you can put a label to it and call it what you want. You can call it your split apart. You can call it your soulmate. You can call it your twin flame. You can call it your twin ray. You can call it Sally and Harry. It doesn't really matter because you're going to know different. All right? And yes, there will be a time when the twin flame obsession, as we know it today up on YouTube and in many Facebook groups, will be gone. But the template of the relationship and all of the excitement of it will still be there, but the label will not be significantly as important as it is as the outcome that's happening, that's coming down the road. From one twin flame to all of you twin flames out there, happy twinking. Have a great day.